In this video, I'm going to explain how I fixed my low back pain while I was traveling with my family. If you've got low back pain, and especially if you do a lot of upper body workouts like with pull-ups, or you're doing a lot of surfing like I was, or you're doing a lot of swimming and motions that require you to do this a lot, then this video is going to help you out. If you're somebody who's just been sitting around with your arms at your side all day long, tippity-tap typing, this can also be really helpful for your low back pain. And if you've got anterior pelvic tilt, this can also be really helpful for your low back pain. Make sure you watch through to the end of the video so you understand how to fix your low back pain. Now let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. When you're thinking about low back pain, you need to remember that there are a lot of muscles that can cause low back pain. It's not just the back muscles. It's not just the ones that run along your spine. It can be your thigh muscles. It can be your butt muscles. It can be your hamstrings. It can be your abs. It could be a whole number of things. One thing that it can often be, and was for me during my trip, was my lats. Now, where are the lats? The lat muscles are big muscles that affect your shoulders, and they also affect rib cage and spinal position. The lats go from right on the front of your humerus, which is this funny upper arm bone, and that muscle then goes under the armpit, around, down into your low back, and attaches into this big fat aponeurosis, which basically means a big tendinous blankety sheath thing down here that then blends all the way down into this stuff, into like your butt area. And so when the lats are really stiff, when you use them a ton, and those muscles are used to shortening up and shortening up and shortening up, it can really get you trapped into this position. It can get your low back jammed, and it can feel like you're actually jamming things, because if you do it enough, you are jamming things. And before we dive right into it, I want to ask you a question. How long have you been fighting with your back pain, and what have you tried already? Drop me a comment down below. I was recently on a trip in Spain, and I caught some freak summer swell in San Sebastian and managed to get 2 solid days of surfing on a nice 9.3 longboard. The first day there was swell, I was out on the water on the longboard for 4 hours. And in the middle of that surf session, I thought to myself, maybe I shouldn't do this for quite so long because I might overdo it a little bit. But I thought, I'm fine. Fast forward to the end of the 4-hour surf session, and my low back was not feeling so hot. And for the next several days, my back wasn't feeling good. And I kept trying to stretch things out. I kind of loosened up my low back with a little massage, some stretching. I did some hip stretching, but nothing was really loosening things up. And then I had an duh moment. I remembered that surfing requires a lot of paddling, and I was paddling a lot that day to get into a lot of waves, and that requires the lats to work all day long. So my lats had gotten a huge workout, 4 hours straight of just paddling around, sitting, waiting, paddle, and that was causing some issues. Anytime you're trying to troubleshoot your own back or whatever body part, remember to think about what activities and positions you're in constantly, and think about which ones might be aggravating the situation. You want to find cause and effect so that you are able to start troubleshooting and solving and fixing the underlying dysfunctions in your body. And of course, do not get caught in rips or rest, ice, injection, pills, and surgery. Just ATM, always think muscles, and in this case we're thinking about my lats, so what I had to do to get my lats to open up was twofold. The first thing you can do to stretch out the lats and help your low back pain is to grab onto something like a rail or a corner of a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture and just start stretching into the armpit and the rib cage. Really feel that stretch all through the side and down into the back. I strongly recommend trying to round your lower back as opposed to arching it. You want to round it, and that's going to help stretch out the lats some more. You can push away or pull your body away from the anchor point and really try to find that stretch through your ribs, under your arm, even into the triceps, and just get that going. Find angles, play around with your foot position, just adjust and feel for the places where it's trapped. And make sure you stay in that position for like a good minute if not more. The first, 10, 15, 20 seconds, that's just your body basically saying, wait, this doesn't feel right. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. And you're in that panic mode. And you have to wait until you can get good sensation and feel the right muscle fibers actually stretching and letting go. That can take up to a minute. It can take longer than that, so take your time. When I was on this trip and I started doing this stretch, initially I felt it up here, and then I started to feel it in the low back. And even now, I'm kind of tight because I've just surfed yesterday a whole bunch again. You also want to make sure that you do both sides. So I'm going to do the right side here, stepping away, getting a real deep feel into that right side, keeping the low back rounded. You can see I'm even like twisting and bending and torquing to really accentuate that stretch all along the side, that right side of my body right now. Be creative. Just stay within a range that feels safe. If you feel like you're about to snap something or pop something, you need to do it less intensely. Take your time, and I promise if you go gradually, you will make progress. Slow is safe, and fast is foolish. Hey, big shout out to Horbor7, Rose Bowl Mary, Sylvia, I see you, Mark 1, and K Buzz B. Thank you very much for becoming supporting members of the Upright Health YouTube channel. To support this channel, use the join or thanks button down below, or the PayPal or Patreon links you'll find in the description box. Now let's get back to it. The other exercise that I found really helpful for opening things up is to do a kind of modified butcher's block. So a butcher's block is when you're having a dumbbell or a stick here, and you're kind of putting your head on the chopping block to, prepare for the guillotine or, the butcher's cleaver. But in this case, we're just going to go one arm here. We're going to make sure that we have the elbow bent. Then we're going to take the hand and wrist. We're going to push against with the head. That's going to make sure we feel the stretch in the right places. We should feel the tricep stretch. We should feel the lat stretch. Should feel some stuff in the armpit. And again, if we play around, a little body English, kind of open up that side, play around with head position, and just get that stretch deep along the rib cage and into the armpit. Again, doing both sides for a minute will really help improve shoulder mobility and help release these muscles that are keeping our spine locked into extension or locked into that arch. So we really want to work on creating that rounding, the opposite of arching, while we get this stretch going. Using a lower surface that's closer to the ground can also help get a little better leverage, a little better control, since you'll have your hand on the floor and your knees on the floor, and then you can really just sink into it and focus on getting that stretch. By doing those stretches a few times a day throughout the day, I was able to teach my lats to let go and chill out, and then my low back pain obviously started getting better. If you've been struggling with low back pain and you've been doing hip stretches and back stretches and all that stuff, and you've been neglecting the shoulders and the lat muscles, then I strongly encourage you to give these exercises a try. Give yourself a medium level of challenge and never push into anything that's super hard and intense and painful. You want to go slow because slow is safe, fast is foolish. When you first give these exercises a try, do them once, maybe twice a day, and just pay attention to what you notice. Some of you may experience some real adjustment soreness, so make sure if you do feel crazy sore that you don't keep pushing harder and harder. Maybe give yourself a little time to adapt to the new stimulus, maybe take a day off and then try it again. Some people, like me, may feel like, wow, I can just do this and I just feel obviously like I'm fixing myself. I'm going to do it a few times a day. It's fine. Just make sure you're paying attention to what your body is telling you. If you want a comprehensive program to help you with your back pain, check out the Back Pain Fix. The link is going to be down below. If you want more free videos to help you with your back pain, check out these right here. To support this channel, hit the join button or the thanks button, or use the PayPal link down below. Like, share, and subscribe with notifications on. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.